Welcome in. It is day 83, and you're speaking with the Meeples Champion. Today is not only day 83, it is also October 1st, and so begins the month I've been waiting for. We are going to be trying our best to focus in this month on Halloween-themed or highly themed games that I feel fit for the Halloween month. So hopefully for the next 31 days, every day I'm going to be giving you a game that when it gets to this time of the year, it might be a game you guys want to consider to put into your collection so that you have a themed party or a themed game just for the family or for some friends getting together to celebrate the holiday month. So, for today, we're going to be jumping into a game that I've only played a couple times, but I felt it was a nice little lead off. It's a little bit of a darker type theme, and it's a game that I'm always kind of back and forth on exactly where it lands for me. But it's a good game no matter where I land on it. And that game is Letters from Whitechapel. So this game is really cool. The concept is that one of the players is going to be playing Jack the Ripper, and everybody else is going to be playing police detectives. And Jack the Ripper's objective is to make it through the city and murder 5 women. And our objectives, the police investigators, are trying to figure out where he is. So you'll have multiple rounds, and you basically have loads of stuff that goes on the board. You have things that represent where could be police, but there's not every spot represents the police tokens that we have. You have spots that represent, just where the women could be, but not every spot is a woman. And then you have just the numbers all over the board, and Jack the Ripper doesn't put anything on the board. He marks everything on his own pad of paper that he has. It's a special page that he's given that tracks his movement. So during the round, he only has so long. He needs to get out there, find his victim, and then get back to his hideout. That's his goal. But while he's doing this, the police are going around, and we're looking for clues. So we can either accuse somebody, or we can check for a clue. If you're checking for a clue, the clue is going to be big, because if it so happens that you check number 92 on the board and 92 is on that sheet of his walking path, it's a clue. We've started to find his path, and we go, he was here. We know he was over here at some point. And now you don't know if he went that way or this way, but all of a sudden if somebody else says, hey, I just investigated, and over here in like 74, I also got a clue. Well, now you've got 2 points of interest. And since he's not teleporting, he's walking, that's the concept. Now you can start to put together an idea as to where he may be. And based on where you find the victim, eventually, that'll also help you to go, okay, well, this is where he clearly committed the murder. Here's where he was here where he was there. So you're getting close, but what's tough is you can't just investigate and find him. You can only find the clues. So if you investigate a spot and he's there, you'll get a clue, but you won't be told the fact that he's standing there. The only way to do that is if instead of asking to check for a clue, if you went for an arrest. And if you chose to go for an arrest and he was there, he would have to say yes. And that would be it, and you'd win the game. Otherwise, once he gets to the hideout, you guys set up round 2, it's time for victim 2. And he has to try to get through 5 rounds and get 5 victims. Whereas if you catch him once, you've stopped him, Jack the Ripper has been locked up, you're good to go. It's a very different game, and I think it's fun, and I think it definitely, for a lead off for this month, this is the kind of game that if you're college kids or adults, you definitely like games, and I don't think you have to be an experienced player necessarily to play it. I think if you are, great. But if you just want to play a nice, fun, dark theme, and you have somebody who understands the rules that can play Jack the Ripper, you're going to be fine. And it'll be a fun night. This to me is one that, it's one of those that's great for the month of October. So why don't we jump in? Let's judge it on our 7 categories, and then we'll kind of wrap up at the end and give a little bit more opinion on that October play. So, category 1. This box art wouldn't grab me for a game, but I think because of what this game is and where it fits, it does. This is supposed to be a darker, scarier feel. It's supposed to be almost like a threatening type feel. You know, that shadow of Jack the Ripper. Is he there? He's in the shadows. I think it sells a great feel of the theme, and the board and everything with that does it as well. It's not going to win an award for the best actual art, but it's definitely, for me, going to get the thumbs up for an art that fits its game and sells its theme. Very strong. Primarily, the components are good. You've got some wooden pieces to put on the board. You got some cardboard pieces to put on the board. My issue is when a game comes with a pad of paper that you have to use. Now, if you jump to a game like, say, Five Tribes, I didn't bring that up because it was a scoring sheet. So it wasn't needed for the game. It was needed for the end of the game, and you don't necessarily need it. You can score without it. But in this game, Jack the Ripper has to use this the whole game. This is what judges everything. And it just, to me, yeah, maybe it looks like it fits the theme because it's like the way it's set up. But for me, I don't think it's very good quality. I would have rather that they found a way to either make a dry erase. I like it when games have that, or something. I feel maybe some type of an actual built piece that could have properly done this. I just feel like there was something missing there, and that piece is such an important piece. If you're playing Jack, it's extremely important. And now you're relying on somebody to be able to go back and read their handwriting. And as we all know, that is not a reliable thing, one person to the next. So all of a sudden, if you're playing with somebody who's not a very good handwriter and their Jack the Ripper notes are hard to read and you can't figure out where they were, well, that's just frustrating. So I have to give it a thumbs down on the components because that piece, to me, is essential. And I think that while all the rest of them are fantastic, that being what it is, that annoys me. This game goes for around 50 to 60. You know, it's not massively expensive, but it's not cheap. There's a lot in this game, and it's definitely one that you have to know what you're getting yourself into. As I said, I think a beginner could play this game. Even a kid could play. Not as Jack the Ripper. I think you have to be an experienced player for that. But I think that a kid could play and it'd be like, oh, okay, if you've got like a bunch of siblings or friends or whatever, but somehow you end up having a kid or two wants to play the game and a few older kids or adults, as long as somebody can play Jack, let the others play as the policeman because it's not that difficult, I don't feel. It can be led. You're working as a team anyways, so there's a way to let those beginners or those kids into a game to experience it without them having to know everything. That being said, due to its price range, how often are we playing it? To me, if you're buying it for the month of October, if this is your Halloween game, unless you've got a lot of money, I would expect you're not going to buy many Halloween games. And I'm just not sure this would be my one to choose if that's the way I'm choosing it. So I'm going to give it a thumbs down on the price. I think it is just a little too much for a game that may not get the usage you'd expect. I don't think this game is extremely difficult. Now, as I've said in the past, there are different forms of difficult. Is it difficult to play or to learn? I don't think so. Jack the Ripper, you've just got to be very, very tedious about taking your notes and making sure you keep track. Everybody else, though, even if you have like a renegade who's just like, I'm not going to work with the team, I'm going to run over here and do my own investigation, that's fine. Could work. You never know. So I don't think it's difficult in that. But the difficulty to me is actually catching Jack. I feel that Jack the Ripper has a massive advantage. And that should be adamant because if the game wasn't in his favor, then there'd be a lot more likeliness of you winning in rounds 1 or 2 or 3. And to have it set up that it's so in his favor that the likeliness of winning those rounds is just if you decide to say, there. That to me makes it, it's like, well, what was the point of rounds 1, 2, and 3? Yes, of course. There's the build-up. learning about how that person moves with Jack, eliminating stuff on the board, figuring out clues, all of that I understand. But to me, I just feel like until you get to around 4 or 5, there's not much hope of the police to really catch him. Unless you're going to abandon the clue looking and go all out on just arrest, arrest, arrest. And that's just, to me, it's lazy. So it's a good game. I just think it is difficult. You got to really know what you're doing and understand how to play through as a policeman, how to play through as Jack. I think the replayability is meh. It's a good game. But for me, if I'm judging it based on game alone, there's many games I'll play before it. I don't own this. This is a friend's that I borrowed for this. I don't want to own it because I don't want to play it that often. And if you're judging it based on a Halloween game, I have so many other games I would prefer to play with the theme. Now, that's not to say this is bad. It's not. It's just to say that the likeliness is, in my rotation, if I'm going to legitimately request it, it's going to be a Halloween month game once a month, and I'm not playing 31 days of October. The likeliness is I'm getting 4 plays in, maybe with family and such 5 or 6. So this might only get chosen once every 2 or 3 years. It's not enough for me, so that's a thumbs down. So there are keys to victory. It's all up to what you want to do. If you're playing as Jack, yes, your key to victory is to murder and escape. But you don't have to kill right away. You have the option to wait. You don't have to make a dead shot straight towards the hideout. You can go in different directions. You have bonus things that allow you to get extra speed and such that you can use, but you only use them so many times. So do you want to use it early and try to get further into the game, or do you want to hold out and see if you can survive to use it late in the game? So there's options on Jack's side. Just like as the policeman, there's options of, do you want to investigate? Do you want to arrest? Where are you going to go towards? Are you guys going to work as a team and surround an area and really blanket in and focus on an area? Or are you going to spread out and try to see if you can get enough dots of information to say, okay, we got 5 pieces of information from, 5 different sections of the board, and 1 or 2 of you hit, and now the others all head towards you. There's a lot, I feel, of these keys to victory, and I think that it's enough for me to give it a thumbs up. Is this game unique? If you're talking about theme, yes, I know that there's Mr. Jack, and that you're also moving through and trying to escape. But that's a 2-player. There's a lot of characters in the game. It's shorter. It's pretty straightforward. It's a fun game. This one, well, it shares the theme. I feel that the way it's played is very unique. It's almost like getting hide and seek put onto a board, and that's kind of cool. So I am going to give it a thumbs up. I think that it is unique, and that if you're looking for a game that allows you this hidden movement with people trying to hunt you down, trying to get a goal and get out of there before you get found, I don't think there's anything else that really competes for this one. So overall, what do I think? As a game, it's fine. It's good. It's one that I think if you have a chance to play it, play it. Personally, I'm not adding it to my collection. I don't feel this is a must play, and it's definitely not a must own. As a theme for the month of October, for our Halloween type feel, I think this is an absolute must play. If you are looking to get games to say, I have a section for a holiday. When you're talking about holidays, I think Halloween is the absolute number one. So the month of October is really big to try to have these, hey, I want to pull this game out and play it in October. I think that this game hits huge there. It's an absolute thumbs up for that. But the question is, should you buy it? I'm still not sure. It's up to you and what your collection says. Is your collection big or small? If it's big, do you really want to spend money on another game when you have other Halloween options? If it's small, is this the one you want to be the lead off for Halloween? Are you Halloween specific, or do you play other games? There might be people out there who say, hey, I like games, but I'm really not huge, so I buy like 3 or 4 that are Halloween themed, and in the month of October, that's when I kind of game. And when my friends ask me to play, I bring my Halloween games and we play those. That might be your style, at which point this might fit perfectly for you. But I feel like if it's not there, for me, I would say it's not a must buy. This is definitely one that I'd hold off on. But that's just my opinion. It's up to you guys to make your own opinions. So get out there, see if you can find the game, whether it's in a store that you can rent, local library if you're lucky, friends who may already own it. Give it a try and see where it lands. Maybe this game will be a big hit for you and it'll just end up being something that you want to pull out every October. Well, today has been day 83. We've been speaking about Letters from Whitechapel, and you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be putting in my Amazon link in case you are interested in picking up this game for yourself. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.